Good afternoon, Ambit family. We are so excited to welcome you guys to our quarterly training. Excuse me. We're so excited to bring you these great leaders. We truly are. We're so excited about this evening. Thank you for joining us from wherever you're watching us from, anywhere in the country. I know we even have people on in Canada. My name is Derek White. I'm an independent consultant with Ambit Energy. And I'm from White House, Texas, and I'm truly blessed to have you guys on with us tonight. We here at the Ambit Gift are truly here to help your business grow. We want you to know that. I want to take a couple minutes and thank you, send out a thank you to everyone that helps put on the show every week for the Ambit Gift. Without these people, definitely, I couldn't do it alone. So Courtney and Darren Dowdy, and they helped me with the local trainings and getting all this stuff planned so that we can bring you this great training that we're going to bring you today. And then Jennifer Herrick, she schedules all of our weekly trainings and helps us tremendously by having great leaders lined up for you for our Monday night Free Energy Live. That's every Monday night at 8 p.m. We truly appreciate you guys plugging into that. If you're not close to a meeting, that's what that Monday night meeting's for, so that you can have something that's local to you to help you grow your business. So without further ado, we're going to have some fun today. I'd like to start this meeting off. Ladies and gentlemen, live on Zoom pay-per-view. Let's get ready to rumble. We have 4 rounds of Ambit heavyweight leaders in round 1. Fighting out of the EC factory with a height of 5 foot 11 inches tall, by the way of Portland, Maine. Let me introduce Tim the Horse Devine. The corporate office has recognized him with the Thompson Leadership Award and the Crystal Sphere Award. Let me introduce my good friend, Tim Devine. Hey, Tim, man, are you with us today?
I'm with you. I'm with you, my friend. Can you hear me okay?
I'm good, man. We thought we'd have a little bit of fun introducing these all these great leaders. And, I invited you on here tonight to start this meeting off, to set the tone of the meeting. And I really want you to do that. At the Ambit Gift, we don't ask any one of our leaders to speak on any particular topic because we want them to share their Ambit Gift with you. But I know Tim is a man of faith, and so am I. And we don't want to offend anybody, but we would surely like to open this meeting up with a word of prayer. And then, Tim, if you can just carry us into about 2:30, and then we'll turn it over to Jay. We truly appreciate you coming on tonight, man.
Absolutely. Well, it's my pleasure, and I'm going to open us up in prayer. First of all, dear Lord, thank you for this gift that you've given to us, Ambit Energy. Thank you for our freedom, Lord, to come together and share ideas and lift each other up here with this opportunity. And just thank you for the community that's present. And we do not take it lightly. We know it comes from you. All good things come from you. And we just ask you to bless this meeting and bless everybody that listens in, and the people that listen after the fact with the recorded information. So with that, Lord, we give you all the praise and all the glory. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, well, first thing I have to do is I have to explain that nickname, because when you asked me that nickname, I thought, wow, that's kind of an odd question, but I know there's some sports people on here, especially Coach Alan Johnston. Back, when I was a kid growing up in sports, I played football and basketball, and I acquired the nickname The Horse. And there was a couple reasons for that. I was very fortunate to play with kids older than me. I was usually playing with kids that were a couple years older than me in school. And on one particular team, I was on the starting 5, and these guys were just way more talented than I was. But I was a workhorse, and I earned my spot. And I used to have long, thick, blonde hair. And they said, so between the work ethic and the hair, I had like a mane like a horse. So I don't know, it's kind of crazy, but that stuck. And so they used to call me the Horse, and so now I'm in the car business, and I equate that to horsepower. So, but yeah, it's all fun stuff. I appreciate that, Derek. And, I appreciate you having me on, and the fact that you've left this open to, us coming up with our own topics that we're passionate about. And so what I'm going to share with you is basically mindset, goals, and personal development. And what that equates to is, you chasing after your dreams, you chasing after whatever it is that you're looking to get from this opportunity, Ambit Energy. This is simply a vehicle. Ambit Energy is a vehicle that we need to take advantage of and go out there and take the bull by the horns. They do not owe us anything. It's not up to your upline. It's not up to Chris and Jerry as far as your success is concerned. It's up to you. These people have just provided an atmosphere and the opportunity for us to take advantage of. So, with that said, one of the biggest things that's helped me in this arena is personal development. You hear it all the time. I think a lot of people really kind of push that off to the side. There's a small percentage that really take that seriously and take advantage of personal development. I came up with a discipline years ago to read every single day. Every single day, the first thing I do when I get up is I read. I read devotionals. I'm always in a book or two or three. I've always got 3 or 4 books on my table, and I'm reading a couple at a time. No, I don't sit down for hours and read, but I just get a little bit, and what happens is it helps to create my mindset for the day. It helps to create my level of happiness and optimism and all those different things. Because, again, you can control those things. There's outside forces that are going to try to take you down, that are going to try to get in your head, that are going to try to trip you up. And you have to be proactive and do something to fight off all those things. We live in a negative world with cynical people that are out there trying to take your dreams away, basically. And so when you're out there trying to do something good for you and your family and improve yourself, trust me, you are going to come up with opposition, and you have to take that seriously. One of the things I'm going to talk about is a particular book I just had sent to me by a friend. I haven't started reading it yet, but I always like to mention a book. And this one, it's kind of appropriate with the way we started off this meeting, is The Meaning of Prayer. Okay, it's a book about, how powerful prayer is, how significant it is to not only pray yourself and pray regularly throughout the day, but also do it with other people as well. In the Bible it says 2 or more gather in my name, and I am there. It's real. And so we try to do that, my wife and I. We just think that is a very, very vital part of success. If you look at success principles, they all stem from and come from the Bible. Everything. And if you listen to enough leaders out there, whether it's Jim Rohn or John Maxwell, you'll hear those roots will always go back to things that they got out of the Bible. So I'm looking forward to reading that book, The Meaning of Prayer. It was given to me by a senior consultant on our team, Greg Mielek, and so excited to get into that. And then one of the other things I want to talk about is recommending 5 audio videos that you go seek out. Now everybody's a little bit different, as far as what makes you tick and what gets you excited, what keeps you fired up, what keeps you in the game. And so I'm going to throw out a couple of different examples of videos that you can go to. So there's reading. I'm going to talk about reading. I'm going to talk about audios and videos, and then association, okay? And so getting into those videos, if you find 5 videos that you really like, okay, and then just try to make it a habit to watch those at least once a week, it's amazing how that will help to keep your battery full. Sometimes people say, oh, I don't need the rah-rah, I don't need the, all that stuff. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. Your batteries are gonna run down. You need something to get you back up. You need something to bring you back to center, okay, and give you that energy that you're looking for. So a couple videos that I'll recommend. Again, you can just go to YouTube. There's millions of things out there, but Just Do It by Art Williams. If you haven't watched that video or heard that talk, and even if you've heard that talk several times, you plug that in, you play that today, it is going to lift you up, okay? He talks about mindset. He talks about facing opposition, and knowing that, you got to get in there, you got to get hungry, you got to get it done, okay? It's up to you. It's not up to everybody else. So that's a great one. Another one I like, one of my favorites, is Jim Rohn. Okay, now Jim Rohn is a guy that when you hear him talk, he always talks about his story. He found a mentor when he was a young man. He was 25 years old and he was broke. He did a year of college, and what happened was he quit college because he thought, you know what, there's nothing more for me to learn. I got to go out there and start making money. So he did 1 year of college, quit, and went out there, and he was struggling, and he managed to get a job at a hardware store. And you always hear him talk about his mentor and his coach that got him on the right track. Okay, and so I'm not going to go through all of the elements. You'll hear it when you listen to Jim Rohn, but he always refers back to that mentor. Okay, and now Jim Rohn, he made it big in direct sales. Okay, and then eventually he had a speaking career develop from that, and he became a motivational speaker. Now, through that process, here's what's significant about Jim Rohn. I mean, when you understand the background of this guy and the impact he's had on just hundreds of thousands of people, it really makes the information that more relevant. And so 3 different people that Jim Rohn has mentored, okay? One is Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is the highest paid motivational person, coach, speaker, sought after in the world. Okay, I heard a statistic years ago. My wife and I went to a Tony Robbins event, and I heard a statistic that I think it was like a 3-year waiting list to be coached by Tony Robbins. And the monthly fee, the monthly amount, I think it was like $1 million a year was his fee. And so you would get 1 hour a month, okay, $1 million a year to have him as your personal coach. And there was a 3-year waiting list. Okay, so think about this. He was mentored and brought up through the ranks by Jim Rohn. Another one is Jeff Olson. Jeff Olson's a guy in the direct sales industry that's been a field guy, been successful with a handful of companies, started his own company. But one of the things that Jeff Olson did that was really significant was he wrote a book called The Slight Edge. Okay, The Slight Edge is a book that if you haven't read it, I highly suggest you read it. That book is about the little things that you do on a daily or weekly or monthly basis that compound over time. Now, those can be positive, they can be negative. You know, negative habits and negative actions, those yield fruit, or I shouldn't say fruit, but they yield results, just like anything that positive does. So, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Your actions are going to produce some sort of results. And his book basically spells out the simplicity of just little simple things that compound over time. So again, he always refers to Jim Rohn when you hear Jeff Olson talk. Okay, and then the third one is Darren Hardy. Darren was the publisher of Success Magazine, and again, Darren's a guy that was very successful in the direct sales arena, and that's how he met Jim Rohn. He came up through. He's a young guy, joined the company that Jim Rohn was involved with, and then just got into personal development. Has become an author, publisher of Success Magazine. He's got a Facebook page. He does videos. He's a great guy, incredible person. And so you think about that. Tony Robbins, Jeff Olson, and Darren Hardy, all mentored by Jim Rohn. So when you watch a Jim Rohn video, guys, the content is so rich. It is so good. And it's timeless wisdom. Jim Rohn's, he's passed away years ago. So he's no longer around. But you know what? That information is as relevant today as it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. Okay, so I highly suggest you tap into watching Jim Rohn videos. Okay, you won't be disappointed. Another one I really, really like. Okay, so I already mentioned Tony Robbins. He's on the list, and I highly recommend. He can be a little over the top at times, and again, sometimes different personalities. Things will work for you. Sometimes they won't. Find what works for you. Okay, find what motivates you, lifts you up, charges up your batteries, and helps you out. Okay, you got to seek this stuff out. But Tony Robbins is a great one. And then one of my favorites is Pastor Charles Stanley. Actually, if you look him up, it's Dr. Charles Stanley. And so Charles Stanley is a pastor in Atlanta, Georgia, and just an incredible guy with a ton of wisdom. And I like listening to his videos. I hear him a lot on the radio, but I'll pull up a YouTube video at night a lot of times, and I'll find a different topic. If you go to YouTube and you type in Charles Stanley, all his different sermons will come up. There's tons of them, guys. I mean, there's tons. Okay, and you find maybe a topic that's relevant to something you're going through right now in your life. Maybe it's a relationship issue, right? Maybe it's a financial issue. Maybe you're dealing with depression, or someone you know is depressed. Okay, there's all these different topics, and you can get that wisdom from Charles Stanley. And what I do a lot of times, sorry about that, I'm in my office. We'll shut that phone off. But what I do a lot of times is at night, I figure something out. I really love personal development. I love all this stuff, reading, and I love the process of trying to become better, because I can control what I do, right? I can control my actions. I can't control other people. I can't force other people to get better, right? I can encourage them, but really it's up to them. So I figured out that I can control me. And so what I did was, through going to seminars and different events and reading books and getting coached by great people, I discovered an idea that if I listened to something positive when I go to bed at night, because they say that whatever you talked about last when you go to bed at night is what your mind meditates on all night long. That's why they say if you got in an argument, don't go to bed without making up first, right? Don't go to bed angry, okay? And that's so true, because what happens is your mind never shuts down, okay? Your body may go to sleep, but your mind never shuts off, okay? And your subconscious mind is 100 times more powerful than your conscious mind. And your subconscious mind takes that, whatever you've given it. So that's why a lot of times, like drama TV and horror shows and watching the news over and over again, guys, that stuff is toxic. Shut it off. Don't put it in your head, because it has an effect. It has a long-term effect. Okay, I don't watch TV. I mean, sometimes during the sports seasons, I might want to try to catch a game. I don't plan my weekend around watching a football game. Okay, if I have time to watch a game, I tell you, I'm a big Patriots fan, right? I don't watch a lot of games. I catch some highlights. I might catch a quarter of a game. I might catch a half. I don't sit down. I don't plan my Sunday, everything around a football game, because you know what? They could care less about my success. They're not paying my bills, right? And so what happens is we're paying theirs, because everybody's tuning in on the sidelines. And here with Ambit Energy, you can be on the field in the game, okay? So that's more important. But my point is this: if you're watching negative stuff, especially late at night, and you think about it all night long, it's going to have an effect on you. And that's where a lot of bad things come from, like health problems, stress. A lot of those things, the root of those things is the things that are coming at you all the time that you're consuming, okay? So again, back to the topic, what I like to do, and I'll use Charles Stanley as an example. I'll find a sermon from Charles Stanley. I'll turn it on as I'm going to bed. It's on my nightstand, and the volume's down a little bit, but I can hear it. I can hear what he's talking about, and I'll turn that on, and I'll listen to that sermon as I fall asleep, okay? That sermon, maybe it's a 30, 45-minute sermon, it will end, but my subconscious mind is listening to that information even after I fell asleep. And then you know what's happening? My mind is processing that information all night long. My subconscious mind is breaking that down, processing it, analyzing it, applying it to my life, just grinding on that information all night long, like gears in a motor, right? That's what's happening. And here's what I figured out. It's good use of time, right? That's time management 101. I can get personal development while I'm sleeping, okay? I love that. I love that about this stuff. So anyways, I encourage you to do that. And especially, if you're the type of person that's dealing with fear, or you're worried a lot, or you have anxiety, guys, there's a cure. Another great person to listen to is Dr. Wayne Dyer, okay? Another person that just has incredible content about just, having a good life, just having peace in your life and tranquility and happiness and all those things. Because here's what I know. Years ago, I learned in this industry, I heard a talk, and it was about the two major emotions that all human beings have. Since the beginning of time till now, this has never changed. We have two major emotions, okay? Those two major emotions are seeking happiness and avoiding fear, avoiding pain, okay? So we have those two. Everything that you do is supported by one of those two major emotions. Okay, it's seeking happiness. What is seeking happiness? Maybe it's time with your family. Maybe it's going on a vacation, earning a bonus during a bonus period, helping a new consultant get paid. Right? There's a level of satisfaction. The way you're wired up, the way God wired you up with your DNA, you get satisfaction from helping other people. Why is that? Well, it's just an emotion that you have. Okay, and it's something that it's in there. And so a lot of times people say that, man, I get so energized when I go out there and show the plan, and I meet new people and they get excited, and there's a byproduct from that, and you get excited. You get fed from helping other people. That's the way God wired you up. Okay, and so you're actually, you don't realize it, but you're seeking happiness through helping other people because you're getting fed. You're getting that satisfaction. Okay, so then there's avoiding pain. Okay, what is that? Well, maybe it's not hanging around with the wrong people, or maybe you have children and you tell them, don't hang around with these people, and make sure you're home by a certain time, and all these things that you're doing to protect your kids. Well, that's that major emotion again kicking in to protect your kids and protect yourself and help people. So again, those two major emotions drive everything, and when you drill down to everything that you're doing, they're powered by one of those two things. Okay, and so here in the direct sales industry, we tend to attract positive, optimistic, like-minded people that want more out of life, that want to do good things, that want to become a better version of themselves, that want to help other people. Okay, and so that's what we attract here. And I was talking to some folks last week. We were at a training with executive consultant Jay Sanborn, which you guys are going to learn a wealth of knowledge from him. Jay's an incredible trainer, friend of mine, and we were talking after this training up here in Maine, and we're talking about the different things that you get from this business. Okay, the different byproducts that you cannot get in public education, in most families. Most people that grow up and go through life never get exposed to all the things we're talking about right now. They don't even know they exist. Maybe they went to church once or twice, right? And they couldn't quite figure that out, and they never went back. Believe it or not, that's most people. And or maybe they had someone in their life, a great uncle that treated them really well, and they taught them some lessons and whatnot, and they're really appreciative of that. But most people, outside of a couple experiences, do not have this well of energy and positive stuff that they can tap into, like you and I. So it is a gift. Okay, this is a gift. It's a privilege, it's an honor, it's a gift, and you need to get out there and share it, because this whole thing isn't about hoarding it all to yourself. This whole thing is about getting involved, becoming a better version, and going out there and pouring yourself into the lives of other people. And believe me, God will put those people in front of you at the right time. Okay, it happens all the time. One of the things that I was reading yesterday morning, I was reading about positive self-talk. Now, this was a devotional, and it was talking about watch your words diligently. Words have incredible power to bless or to wound. A lot of times we're joking around, we're kidding with people, and we say things and we hurt people, and we don't even realize it, right? Your words are like the rudder of a ship. They will guide and change the course of direction of your life, okay? And they will affect other people. So positive talk, your speech. Be very aware of your speech, okay? And it says here, when you speak carelessly, you can damage others as well as yourself. You can damage people and not even realize it by the power of the tongue. So be very aware of that, okay? And then the other thing it said was be quick to listen. This is life-changing right here. This one quote, if you just get this one thing and write it down and meditate on this and look at this over and over again, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. That will change your life. Here's what happens in life. We react instead of respond. Okay, I was going to say respond, but we react. We have this knee-jerk reaction. Again, it's protecting ourselves. It's that fear thing, right? Avoiding pain. Avoiding pain is putting up a shield and punching back, right? That's how we're wired in our society. Is we have to fend for ourselves. We got to claw our way through life, and we got to get to the top. We got to climb to the top, right? We're going to get to the top of that ladder, and it doesn't matter at any cost. I'm going to get there, and it doesn't matter the casualties. No, totally wrong. Here's what I heard from my pastor over and over and over again the last couple months and whatnot. It's brilliant stuff. The goal is to go to the bottom. So what does that mean? He said, in life, the goal isn't getting to the top. It's going to the bottom. It's going to the bottom and serving. It's getting your hands dirty, right? It's doing the things that other people aren't willing to do. Look at Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa's life was, she picked the worst place in the world, the most damaged economic and social place, just a place that you and I would not want to spend 1 hour, let alone our life. And that's where she set up camp. Okay. And that little woman was so powerful that world leaders, didn't matter who they were, when she spoke, they would listen. You know why? Because she went to the bottom. Jesus was born in a stinky manger, right? In a barn, and came to town on a donkey, And so what was that all about? He went to the bottom. He came to earth and sacrificed himself for us. And so that's what that means. It's not about climbing up to the top and getting there by running over other people. It's serving and helping and burying yourself in the success of other people. When you figure that one out, and that's your goal, life changes. It's not just your Ambit business, right? It's your personal life. It's your relationship. It's your happiness. Again, that major emotion gets fed from going to the bottom. So remember that. Go to the bottom. Another thing I want to point out real quick before I wrap up, I've got about 3 or 4 more minutes here, is I got to read my notes real quick. A short, quick prayer before you respond. Maybe a short, quick prayer before you speak in front of people at an Ambit meeting, or you're going to pick up the phone to call a prospect, or you're going to deal with an issue that may be negative. Just remember, just a short, quick prayer. Just saying, just taking a few minutes. It doesn't have to be, some monumental speech, right? It's just being real, having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ and saying, I need your help. Okay. And when you do that, it's crazy what happens. It's incredible. There's a book called The Prayer of Jabez. And, and basically it spells that out, how powerful our prayers are. So remember, positive self-talk. Again, guys, it's reading, it's association with good people, and it's those audios and visuals, or videos, I should say, that you're feeding your mind that are going to change your life. Okay. And so they're going to give you the fuel, the ammunition, and all the answers and everything that you're looking for. So again, hey, I appreciate the opportunity. You guys have a treat coming up with the other 3 trainers that are coming. I know them all personally. They're all personal friends of mine. I respect the daylights out of them because of the fact that they walk the walk. They don't just talk the talk. These guys walk the walk. They've got the fruit on the tree, and I'm sure they're going to get into some mechanics and different things on building the business. But it's been a pleasure sharing for a few minutes with you guys. Look forward to seeing everybody at the big show, Ambition. And anything I can do to help, reach out anytime. I'll do whatever I can. So, Derek, I'm going to turn it back over to you, and I'm pretty sure that covers my content.
Tim, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to have you on. It has just been a pleasure, and we appreciate you opening us up in prayer, and just love all of the words of advice and the words of wisdom that you've given us, and given us some great notes. I hope you all took notes, because a sharp pencil is your best friend in something like this. Tim, thank you so much, and we will see you at the big show.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Well, and now without further ado, fighting out of the EC factory. Here we are with round 2. Fighting out of the EC factory with a height of 6'3" by the way of Naples, Maine. Let me introduce to you Jaybird Sanborn. The corporate office has recognized Jay with the Comma Club belt and a Pure Energy Award. Welcome, Jay Sanborn.
Well, that was quite an introduction. I was not expecting that. I was wondering what those questions were all about, and now we know, right? Hey, I am super excited to be here today. I am excited because I was asked to be part of this, and wasn't something that I was expecting, to be honest. And I just being surrounded and being part of this peer group is amazing. And, I listened to Tim talk there, and I always say a little prayer before I start. So I hope that this brings content to people the way that they want. And I just want to say one other thing about Tim, and is that building my business, my wife and I working with Tim and Sonia has been an incredible experience. We're blessed to be working side by side with him and his wife. And Tim has just brought me into the world of personal development, something I never knew before. So if you took notes on that section and some of that reading material, and then, I think he's also given us the opportunity to really reconnect ourselves with our faith. And that's something that's really driven me and my wife, especially given the times that we've been through in the past few months, because my wife and I experienced a tragedy back in March. We lost our home, and right now I'm actually coming to you from my mom's office. She's allowed me to set up shop in her office, and I just thank everyone in the business for their support, but I also thank so many people for driving home that faith, because I think there's a lot of things we go through in life that if you don't have that kind of a faith or faith-driven, I just think it's great. And Tim and Coach and everybody that's surrounded me with prayer and all of that, it's just been amazing. So without any further ado, those of you who don't know, my wife and I come from Maine. We worked all of our lives here in Maine. We grew up here, and I want to get into a whole backstory, but we were both working around the clock 7 days a week, killing ourselves to try to make life happen for us and our kids. And we were just struggling when Ambit came along, and it's been a complete life changer for us. Been in the business about 4.5 years, and we're getting ready to head down the Ambition, and super excited to see everybody there. But I want to get into the content, and I'm going to share some slides with you. I'm going to do my best to not make this cumbersome and going back and forth between slides. I'll do my best here, but what I really want to share with you is something that I felt that was pivotal when we started our business, was the building of the business and the mechanical side and the mental side. And I think that this is something I learned from other great leaders in this business, and one of them being Brian McClure, who teaches significantly on this, the mechanical side and the mental side. And I just got to do a quick plug for anybody in the Northeast or down in Tyler, with Brian McClure doing the Sunset Tour. If you don't have tickets for that, you're going to have a chance for a 3-hour power hour with Brian McClure teaching his aspect of the mechanical side and the mental side. But I just want to get into some things that I think have really shaped our business, my wife and I, as we went through this and started to develop both sides of this. And one of the things was, like Tim talked about, is pouring yourself in other people and how to get a new consultant started the right way. And I think that as soon as we learned how to sit down with somebody and get them started, and really that one of those two things that we do as an Ambit consultant, right? We gather a handful of loyal customers, and then we help other people. And that help other people thing is something that came naturally to me in everyday life and in all of my life. But when I became an Ambit consultant, I didn't understand how helping other people was getting us and our business off the ground. And even though we were doing it in a fashion, we didn't have a systematic mechanical way of doing it. So we developed this, and it's something that we've gotten pretty good at, and I love teaching on it. So I'm going to share it with you today, is how I sit down with a new consultant, how I can get it started. Well, first thing I do is I actually sit with them. My wife and I will take the opportunity to not have them sit bewildered for long periods of time after they get signed up. What we want to be able to do is we want to be able to share with them how to access things in their computer. So we do this one-on-one with them. And as I get started with this, I want to preface this whole thing with, I am looking for a quick moment with this consultant, this new prospect who's just signed on as a new consultant. And so after the sign up of them as a new consultant, I am taking the initiative to ask them what's their time expectation after I sign them up. I want them to have some idea of we're going to go over some stuff, but I need to know how much time do they have. If we're in the process of getting them signed up, they've just watched the video, we've done a 3-way call, we've now got them through the enrollment process. They're already kind of overwhelmed at everything that's coming at them. But I don't want to spend a whole lot of time trying to train them right out of the gate. But I do want to give them enough information to be able to be functional. And I think that that's important. So the 4 things that we do is we show them the power zone. We take about 5 minutes in there and go over that. Then we set the expectation. We sit with them and we talk to them about creating a written list. And we actually help them start that written list. And then we talk to them about the promotion process, how to get promoted, make more money, right? So sitting down with them, and we take another 5 minutes just kind of going over that, what the expectation is that, my expectation is that they're going to have a written list. My expectation is that they're going to do the 5, 2, 6 and get promoted right away. And we talk about fast track. And then the third thing we do is we schedule a webinar or a BP or some kind of training for them, whether it's your local team trainings or whatever it is that there is. But I want to schedule something with them right away so that I can get them on. And I share with them some web addresses where they can go on and do some recorded trainings and things like that. And then the 4th thing I do is I schedule a follow-up meeting from the meeting. And anytime that I sit with a new consultant, I'm always scheduling, or a follow-up is always in place. And that's whether I've signed them up or not signed them up. I'm always following up, making sure I have something set up for the future. So when I sit down and show them the power zone, I give them ownership of their new business. When they're excited, right? They're getting started. They need to know how to run the ship. So I let them sit down and log in for the very first time, typing in their C number. Again, keeping in mind what their schedule is. If they've got an extra half hour to sit and talk, or maybe 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is. But I don't want to hold them if they don't have that time. We can work on this another time, or it might take a real quick 5 minutes and just go over a few things. But one of the things I do is I have them log into their power zone. And then the other thing I have them do is I have them download the My Ambit Business Consultant app. And I let them know that there's a video on their power zone that teaches them how to walk through the app. But I want to make sure I get them started with those 2 things, because really, quite honestly, it's very intuitive. Once they're logged in, once they have the app, they can go on and start pushing buttons and see things, right? But I walk them through quickly the power zone. And one of the things I learned early on when we started doing the certification quizzes, doing the certification got to be one of those things that I think for the most part, it was, trying to figure out how to do that, Derek. I thought I had my video on. I just saw your text. The one of the things I saw that early on was that this consultant going on their own, trying to do the certification on their own, was actually a little bit cumbersome for them. And whenever somebody says, "Well, go and maybe that worked, Derek. I hope." If I say, if I told you right now, go online, take a quiz, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? First thing that's going to come to your mind is, okay, I got to study, right? Okay, this is going to take some time. How long does this quiz take? And all of that. So don't just tell consultants to go on and get certified. Help them get to the certification. If you have the time right there, walk them through the certification, because when we first started doing that, I left people on their own to do it, and it didn't always work out. It kind of turned into one of those things where I was then trying to figure out how to get them on there, get them certified, and I was bugging them to get it done. So I would walk through that if you can. Quickly go through that certification, get it done if you can. All right? I think I got this figured out. Then the next thing I do is I briefly show them the Power Zone site. Once they get logged in, I go in here and I show them the side buttons on the side of the screen so that they can see what those look like. And basically, it's just going down through, the profile, the website management, the consultant reports, customer reports, showing them that it's there and where it exists underneath that briefcase on that main screen, so that they can find it later. And that's all I'm doing, is pointing that out. I'm not getting into a whole training aspect. I show them where their website access is, how to get to their websites, how to get to their independent consultant to sign up a new consultant, and how to sign up customers. I want to get in there. I want to show them that. I want to just briefly give them an overview. And that's all you're doing is just giving them a quick overview. And then the next thing you want to do, sorry, I lost my mouse here, is you want to show them how to get to those customer reports and explaining how the customer statuses can change and how to access that. And I think that's really important because as they're adding customers, they're going to need to know how to see the status when it goes through TPV and when it gets to the point that it's pending and, you know, all of that. So showing them how to find that is really important. And then I point out to them where the Ambit U training site is, where they can go in and see videos and go in there and poke around. And I always encourage them, just go in and look around and get familiar with the software. It's very intuitive, very easy to do. But Ambit U, I point out that there's some training videos in there, and it would behoove them to go in there and do that. Then we have something that we call the Orange Book. You guys probably have something totally different depending on what team you're on. But I tried to minimize that. But I use this chart right here, the 5-2-6, and talk to them about getting promoted to regional consultant, getting those first few customers, and then I ask them, okay, who are the 2 first people we're going to go talk to? Who are the 2 that we can set an appointment up this week that we can sit down with them and show them this business opportunity? So I've already got the first 2 names of people we're going to set appointments with. And then I tell them, okay, well, the ultimate goal is to have those 2 people join the business and have them point us to other people. But if for some reason we wanted to just go find 6 people, let's fill all of these boxes in and get those names and let's set appointments with those people and start talking with people. So, excuse me, that sets the expectation for them to be able to do that. And I think that really, if you kind of go about it with that mindset and you set that expectation with them right up front, and then you say to them, okay, we want to try to get this done in less than 30 days. How quick do you think we can do this? And that's setting the expectation for fast-tracking the regional consulting. And we all know that that's the ultimate goal is to get somebody fast-tracked. So by being able to work with, you can make your own chart as far as this is concerned. But, you know, if you have something like this that you could show them and work from, it really makes it great. So I told you how we talk about team calls and web events. I explained to them that we have team calls, you know, different calls that are going on, whatever it is for your team, to be able to show them how to get to that, what that actually feels like. Some people have never been on a conference call. Some people have never been on a web Zoom video conference. So to be able to show them what that looks like is something I do. I just take 5 minutes to explain what that process is all about. And I think it's really important. So, and then the last thing I do is I schedule them to be on one of those events. And what I tell them is, I'm going to be there with you. I'm going to, whenever we schedule that time, whether it's a Monday night, a Wednesday night, a Thursday night, or Sunday, it doesn't matter. I'm going to set up a time that they can get on one of our live webinars to get some training. And I'm going to tell them, I'm going to get you on that event. I'm going to make sure that you're there, I'm there. If during that training there's something you don't understand, I'm going to be here to help you. You can text me during the training, whatever it is, but I want to make sure that I've scheduled something for them to be at. Now, that might actually just be the weekly business presentation. Like it might not even be an online event. It might be just going to a business presentation. I'll say, okay, I'm going to meet you here. What night works best, whatever particular meeting there is going on in that area. And I will talk to them and just say, okay, I'm going to be there. I'm going to meet you there. I want you to see this. And you know what? It wouldn't hurt if you wanted to bring a few people with you, put them in your car, and we'll introduce them. Maybe those 2 people that we wrote down on the list, maybe they can join us at the business presentation. And, you know, I always tell them, you know, I'll meet you ahead of time, I'll buy you dinner, whatever, you know, whatever I can do to make sure I'm getting them plugged in right away. So just kind of giving them that belief of validation in their business. Then the follow-up, you know, whether that I do something that is optional, it's not something you have to do, but I saw a significant increase in our business when we started doing this. This is what we call the in-person power hour. My wife and I started doing this, and what I will say to them is in the next couple of days, I want to set up a time that we can get together with no interruptions, where it's just you and I one-on-one. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're actually going to sit down and we're going to do a little more in-depth training at that point. What I really want to do at that point is I want to have their undivided attention, and really I want to be able to sit there and maybe they have some questions on the Power Zone. Maybe they've been in there poking around, they don't understand it. Maybe they've got some customers to enter. maybe we can sit down and work on that. But I want a solid hour with them. And there's some people say, you know, I don't want to have to spend an hour with people. But what I saw was, because of the time that I spent working with people one-on-one individually, it really got them off on the right foot. And I know I've learned from Ray Monty and Norbert Hennessy, and they talked about getting those people paid right away. And that's what my goal is when I go into this power hour with these guys, is I want to make sure they get a paycheck coming before I leave them. And so we'll sit down with their list of 20 names. We'll pick out people that we think are positive. They'll tell us, you know, these potential customers that we can talk to and ask them to do you a favor. And if so, let's start practicing what that call is going to sound like. Let's call some people. Let's get some customers entered, get those third-party verifications done. But I really feel that this you know, one-on-one training that I do with them really works well. It's definitely a more in-depth kind of training. I spend about 20 minutes just going over stuff. Maybe we even do some role playing where they actually pretend that I'm the customer and they're asking me for the favor. But we go over practicing the favor and the why. And one of the things I do with them during this power hour is I spend that 6 minutes and 37 seconds in the Getting Paid video on Ambit 212 in Ambit University. If you go in there and look up Ambit 212 and you watch the first 6 minutes and 37 seconds of that, you're going to see a walkthrough of how to go gather those customers and why it's important to use the favor and the why. And I will tell you that if you start doing this, and you know, it doesn't have to be an hour. I mean, you can figure out what it is, but if you just sit one-on-one with your new consultants and you get them headed in the right direction, because a lot of times what I see is people will sign people up and then it's a texting conversation for days. And you know what happens? They're lost. They don't know what to do. The consultant is brand new. You might have been able to walk them through some quick stuff on the power zone, but they're really just getting started. And I know when I first started, I was a go-getter. I was interested in getting out there and doing it. So I just grabbed a hold of this. I didn't know if I was doing it right or doing it wrong. And you know, some people can do that, but then there's other people that they really need just a little bit of guidance to kind of get them on that path to doing that. And what I found was when I started doing this with people, and again, whether it was an hour or whether it was 20 minutes, it just gave them a little bit of reassurance and confidence to go out there and build their business. And then what I found was I started doing this, they were then self-motivated to go do this. And remember that everything that we do in our business when we start new consultants is duplicating. It's duplicating down in your business. You're going to want that to duplicate down through the whole entire organization, right? So if you start a culture of training and teaching right out of the gate, that's what's going to happen in your organization as it goes down through. So I found that this was extremely helpful in our business, and it really hit home one of the two things that we do: gather a handful of loyal customers and help other people. That's what Tim was talking about, driving down and really just being a servant leader and helping other people. And this really propelled our business to another whole new level. And when you leave that power hour, I want you to think about what you've accomplished, because like I talked about, you're giving them a little bit of confidence. You're creating that duplication. But, you know, we always talk, and again, Norbert Hennessy will tell you, those people, when they get that first check in their hand, that's belief that Ambit Energy works. So if you get a check coming, I remember doing this with one of our SCs that helped us get to executive. And I remember sitting in his kitchen. It really took about 20 minutes, and I had his undivided attention. And he had 10 people that had told him yes to being a customer. 10 people. Now, he had to go backtrack to all those 10 people and get their account numbers and all their information and all that. But in 20 minutes, by the time I left his house, he had 10 customers. He fired up. He got super excited because we made him $300. We made him $300 in 20 minutes. Now, I don't know anybody that can go do that in their job, right? Can anybody else go out there in 20 minutes at your job, be able to go make that? And that is the secret to this business, because all we did was ask people for a favor. He was literally getting on the phone. Hey, Graham, I need a favor. Sure, honey, what is it? Hey, you know, I'm trying to help my family out. We're having some difficulty paying some bills. I just started a business. I could use some help. And he shared his why. He talked about the favor, shared his why. Graham was all about it. Yeah, tell me what you need. Come over anytime, get the information. I'll help you out, no problem. Did it with his aunts and uncles, did it with his cousins, did it with a bunch of friends and family, people he worked with. And I will tell you, that was the power of him being able to go out there and do the exact same thing with his team. When he got going in this business, he got fired up, and he started doing that with all of his new consultants. He became a senior consultant and helped us get to executive. And I'm super proud of him for doing that. But that's when I tell you, I saw our business really take shape. Now, I want to get off that subject a little bit, get away from that, getting the new consultant, getting him started right, to kind of get in on the mental side, because this was something else I struggled with as a brand new consultant. Was started my own business, never been in business for myself before, never done network marketing, never been involved in this kind of thing. And it was really about preparing my mind. And that's why I say Tim and Sonia were incredible people to be hanging around at that time, because they had been exposed to this stuff, and that the things that you need. Not only have they started traditional businesses, and you know, I've known Tim and Sonia for 30 years, and I've always admired their success and admired them as people, and being people of faith in a church. And you know, I took that to a whole new level with my wife and I, because this is something that we needed to develop. Now, my wife had run million-dollar businesses. She had actually built businesses from the ground up, but we had never taken a lot of time to work on what it takes as a new consultant in this business to deal with the fight that you got to have sometimes, the inner drive, the critical moment of control, the resilience that you need, the emotional support that you need, being part of a team. I mean, that was something that, you know, all through our corporate lives, right? When we're in corporate business and corporate America, it's all about knocking the next guy down and getting yourself a little bit higher on the ladder, making yourself look better than everybody else, right? That's how it was. That's not how it is here. This is about everybody working together. And I mean, for us to wrap our head around that and then create a team and then teaching that culture to a team was an incredible thing for us. And so I want to talk about this for real quick. I know I've got maybe like 9 minutes left. I'm going to go through each one of these and kind of just tell you how we kind of molded ourselves into these things and as it relates to your Ambit business. And, you know, I think the first thing you got to do is really get in touch with knowing your why. We talk about this all the time, and I think that it becomes something that's just said and people don't actually take it seriously. But we had such a drive when we started our business of really understanding. We had a why so strong that it pounded in our hearts, and I think that's what you really need. And you know, if your why doesn't make you cry, I mean, I had a daughter that was getting ready to go to college, and I had no money to send her to college. She had worked so hard. There was no way I wanted to set her down and have that conversation with her. I stared at her every day and imagined what that conversation was going to look like. And I literally would start to well up and get tears in my eyes. So, you know, my why was making me cry every single day. And I knew if I just went out there and built this business and I could get that money started and I could get it rolling, that I can make this happen for her. And I'm happy to say that, you know, my daughter has just finished her 4th year and she's informed us she's going for another 3. I just keep writing the checks, and thank you, Ambit Energy, for allowing us to be able to do that. And, you know, but I think that's something that you really got to get passionate about, is knowing why you're doing this business. What's your purpose? What drives you? And it's got to be something solid. And if you haven't taken time to really work on your why, I think that's something you got to do before you do anything else. Because there's so many of these things in this business that people are going to start giving you some negativity. You got to run into it, guys. No matter what business you're in, there's always some kind of negative mindset from different people that's going to come across your plate. It's not fun to have to deal with. So if your why's not deep and it's not in you and you're not focused on your purpose, then you're not going to be able to get through that. And it's going to bring you down. It's going to pound you. And I don't want to be negative about that, but I think it's important to understand that what drives you in this business is your why. And it's super important. Our why sets us apart from everybody else. You know, people ask me all the time, how did you have so much success? How did you get to regional consultant in 13 days? How did you get to senior consultant in 40 days? How did you do it? And I said, I didn't have a choice. I was so focused on my why. I was so focused on the fact my daughter was graduating college in June. I joined this business in April. She was graduating high school in June. I'm sorry. I started this business in April 8th of 2015. She graduated June of 15, and she needed to be in college in August of 15. I had no choice. I needed to go and put my head down, and that's what drove me. And I will tell you, if you have something that drives you, there's no stopping you, no matter what it is. And I don't care who the people are that tell you this won't work, or who the people are that tell you you're involved in a scam, or whatever it is. They're going to tell you you're in a pyramid. You're going to hear all that stuff, and it will take you out of the game if you let it. But if you've got a driven, motivated purpose and a why, you will be there. And that's going to be what inspires you to take action every single day. Every day that I would wake up in the morning, I was out there making my why happen. I knew I had to do it. I had to take action every single day if I wanted this to work. I was taking action for somebody else at all those other jobs I was working. I was working 5 jobs. Every boss, I was taking action for him every day. I was taking action to go to the police department and work. I was taking action for the students in my classroom every single day. I was taking action for everybody else, but I was never taking action for me and my family. If you want this and you want to go after it, you've got to take action. You've got to get up every single day with that motivation and that drive. You know, that's what you need, and that's what's going to do it is your why. So the sooner you can connect with why you're doing this business and find out what's really important to you, you'll then have a purpose. But you've got to ask yourself, what's your why and what's your purpose? Your why, your purpose inspires everybody else to take action too, because I will tell you, this kind of gets to be a fever. And I know our team knows our why, and we know their why, and we don't even look at the dollar bills. I couldn't tell you what's coming in my check next week from Ambit. I know it's going to be there, but I know exactly what's coming in my team's checks. I know what they need. I know what's going to drive them. I've got people on my team trying to get their kids in college. I got people that are trying to get to a point in their life where the bill collector's not banging on the door and calling them every single day. I got people that are looking to retire. That's the fight that you need. You're going to deal with that. You're going to deal with that all the time. There's going to be things that pull you this way and pull you that way. And what I will tell you, it's not easy when you have a family. I mean, we started our business. I was still working 5 jobs. I was running from job to job to job. There was a fight there were so many things trying to pull me out of doing what I was doing with Ambit all the time. And what I needed to do is I needed to just stay focused on that and be super, super driven. But it's a fight mentally in your head to, okay, do I go do this because my kids want me at this event? Or just like today, you know, I just left our camp. We're living at camp because of our house burning down. I just left there. There was probably 40 people on our beach. Okay, I'm looking at my boat. Guess where I am today? I'm here because I am devoted to my business. I'm devoted to doing this. I could have been anywhere else today. And we all have that fight. There's all kinds of things. There's people that aren't on this training. So congrats to every one of you for being here, because there's people that decide to go do something else. You're committed to yourself. You're here. You want to learn. You know, that's the fight and the drive. And that's the inner drive that we're talking about on the next one. You know, that inner drive to say, okay, no, this is more important. It's just like getting down to Dallas and being at Ambition. That's the inner drive, because there's going to be things that will pull you away from that. I'm sorry, am I getting close to my time? 3 minutes. Okay, I'm going to wrap up real quick. But what I want to tell you is there's going to be things that will pull you away from the things that you want to do. Okay, and that inner drive is exactly what you need. You definitely want to be doing that. And, you know, there's going to be some times that we call critical moments, you know, and not everybody you sign up in this business is going to go do this business. You know, you're going to hope that everybody does, right? But there's going to be people that quit on you. There's going to be customers that tell you no, or whatever. Things are going to happen in your business. You've got to be able to be resilient enough in those critical moments of control to say, okay, this isn't the end of the world. Okay, I got to go on and find somebody else. I've got to go on and get another customer. I've got to do whatever it is, right? Those are the things. That's the resilience that you need. You can't have an emotional reaction to everything that happens in your business. You know, sometimes people say to me, well, you know, this gets hard sometimes. This gets difficult. Yeah, move on. You know, I don't get emotionally attached. Until I do, then it becomes an emotional reaction. But you can't have an emotional reaction to everything that happens. You've got to sometimes be practical. Not everybody's going to come into this business and do this exactly like you and I. Right? So understanding that right out of the gate, I think, is super important. And, you know, be willing to change. I think that we get so set in our ways sometimes. There's a lot of information you're going to receive today in this webinar, and when you get on the Ambition, and it might go against the grain of things you've learned all your life, like Tim was talking about, being in the you know, public school and education and all of that. You might have been taught a certain way, but there might be a better way. submitting to the system. We have a system here. Be willing to commit to that and go for capacity for change. And, we talked about being a team player, being willing to build a team, being out there. I mean, last weekend when Tim was talking about, we just did a big training up here. We had an incredible time with a whole bunch of people on our team, hang out with people, become friends with people. I got to meet new people on our team that I hadn't had a chance to meet yet, but then I got to meet their kids and their wives and their families and just reconnected on another level. And being part of that team atmosphere. This is a family in Ambit. I'll tell you, our best friends are coming from this business, and over time, in fact, later today, we're actually going to go hang out with some senior soon-to-be senior consultants in our business. They're this close, and we're helping them get there. But we're just going to hang out and have some fun today, and we're going to strategize for the coming week. We got some meetings set up this week to get them there. They're driven to be senior consultants before ambition. And, I think one of the other things that really stands out for me is the honesty. And I saw this very early on with Ambit, Jerry and Chris with that integrity piece. And this is the last thing I want to talk about before I hand it back to Derek. And I know I just went over, I think I'm going over by a minute, but I think you've got to build your business with the most integrity and honesty. You don't ever want to have that second guessing of, is this person doing the right thing? I always do everything in this business like Jerry and Chris is sitting right there with me. And I think that you've got to be able to have that ability to move forward every single day, not having any doubt that you're doing the right thing, that you're out there helping people, and just that honesty and integrity that comes with this business. So with that, I'm just going to pause that share and try to get off this screen here. I'm not sure if I'm in the right spot, but I think I am. There we go. All right. Did that get you guys? I think awesome. I got everything.
Hey, Jay, man, I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day. It's a Saturday, and jumping on here and being able to teach people literally all across this country. It was truly a blessing to learn. I like to see how everybody, we all do the same things, but we all have our own little ways of doing different things. And the part of the why, man, you're 100% correct. If your why don't make you cry, man, then what are you doing in this thing, man? And when I first got into this business, it was really, really hard for me to tell people my why, because I was feeling as a father, I was about to lose our home and, those types of things. And it was really hard to tell people that. And I got to sit by Philip Eckhart at my very first ambition at a luncheon. And, he's a shy guy, so I didn't, say much to him. And I got done eating my food, and he leans over and he says, "So what's your why?" And, I gave him I just want to make, just the generic why. And he looked at me like I was crazy. He said, "No, man, what's your why?" And then I kind of proceeded to tell him a little bit of my story, and he did a great thing. He said, "You know what, man, if you don't tell every single person that story, then you are not only taken from your future, but you're taken from their future too." And so I've always, just decided, swallow my pride, tell people, hey, I was feeling as a dad and doing that. So I truly appreciate you coming on here today, man. And it was truly a blessing. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me. Thanks for doing this, Derek. And thanks to all the other leaders that are on here. I know it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see the rest.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. And we're gonna get started right now. Round 3. Fighting out of the win team with a height of 5 foot 10 inches tall. And he said sometimes 7 foot 12. By the way of McKinney, Texas, let me introduce you to Peter Redneck Luda. The corporate office has recognized Peter with the Crystal Sphere Award winner, the Founders Leadership Council, and a $1 million jacket. I want to introduce you guys to my great friend, Peter Luda. Hey, man, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh man, we're just having a little fun with this today. Just thought we'd spice it up. We love the USC over here, and there's a little fight night that's going on tonight. So we thought we'd spice it up with just announcing you guys, because in our eyes, you guys are all truly powerhouses and people that I personally love to hear speak, man. So I got the opportunity to speak with Peter for about an hour this week, and you truly opened my eyes, man, to a lot of things, and so I kind of do know what Peter's going to talk about, so I'm really excited to hear from him. So Peter, why don't you take it away from here, and then we'll turn it over to Coach about 3:30, okay?
You got it. Hey, if you're gonna call me redneck, I want to be at least Polish redneck. Okay, let's start there. Hi guys, thank you for having me here, and considering my past, which I will briefly talk about as well. How did I end up here in Texas? How did I end up being part of Ambit Energy? I want to talk about mental toughness. I want to piggyback on Jay ending and talk about the toughness which is required here, and also the simplicity of our system which we have available through Ambit. Tim did amazing job talking about personal development, and when I joined Ambit, I was never exposed. Like he mentioned, most of us are never exposed to personal development, and we don't even know what this means. We are creatures which like our habits. We don't like changes, and typically personal development means we're gonna have to make some adjustments in ourselves first and then around us, and hopefully listening to my story, you will see this my life have changed dramatically multiple times over the past almost 50 years on this earth. So, and Jay talked about the mechanical aspect of our business, which is extremely crucial to our success. But I also realized, this over the past 11 years being part of Ambit, the mechanical side, as important as it is, because we're all starting with the mechanical side, if you learn the techniques without the heart, without the mental toughness, doesn't really matter, So I want to focus on what really matters for all of us, the why, how the why, why our why is so important to us. And let's get started with overcoming obstacles, guys, because I think, very early on when we bringing new consultants, they're gonna end up getting some punches, and if we're not gonna prepare them how to handle them, they're gonna get punched 2-3 times by their best friends and their mom, and they're gone with the wind. So standing up for ourselves, this was something very hard for me, because to be honest with you guys, for 38 years living in 3 different countries, I was a people pleaser. I want to make sure everybody's happy, everybody liked me, and this is how I went through life. Typically, I help people to make extreme amount of money, become successful, figure out new careers, and I was getting stuck with the second spot. The second spot, this was never had too much pressure, and I always was hiding, behind the front people in the front. And here in Ambit, I realized, if I'm going to continue to do the same thing over and over, I'm going to end up, with the same results. You see, America used to be the country which we would see in Poland, for example, during the communist era. You guys were going for gold. Second place was a failure. You see, I've been raised by Polish communist system. We would send runners, to the Olympics, and they were hoping for the 6th spot. And 6th spot would be success. 8 guys running, 6th spot, would be success. And I was always confused with the idea, why even sweat? If you're not going for a goal, why even trying? So when Ambit came along, I thought about those kind of stories, which we grew up with and which you guys are being fed, from from the elementary school, you know, about being good, about being strong, about believing in yourself. I didn't grow up that way. I supposed to be happy with what I have. I supposed to be just humble, you know, keep low, you know. And when came along, I figured out, you know, this is my shot. You see, starting my story in communist Poland, I had to overcome in order to end up here in Texas a lot of obstacles. You know, I left my communist system in age of 18. I went to Berlin. You see, right now we're dealing, and I don't want to be political, but we're dealing with the border issue. When I was leaving my country, I said goodbye to my parents and my grandfather and my sisters, understanding this: when I am not going to make it over there, I might going to get killed. But I was willing to pay the price for a better future, for a glimpse of better future. This was no guarantee anybody would make it in the West, but we were hoping we will. So this is some hint, you know, we need to have that same type of mentality when we're joining Ambit. In 2010, I was giving first interview. I was panicking. I was in a basement in Edison, Illinois, and I got called by some guy, guru, which I saw on TV, and he wanted to interview me. I was freaking out. And I remember the interview started not so well for me because I was really nervous. And he asked me the first question, Mr. Luda, we did some research, and it looked like in this company, Ambit Energy, you're the only one which succeed in Ambit so far in Illinois. And I didn't know what to say. I said the wrong thing, but I think, you know, there's a little truth in it. I just said, hey, I guess I love my children a little bit more than anybody else in Illinois. And obviously it didn't go too well, you know, amongst my peers in the state of Illinois. They were questioning this next day. But think about this. Those few people which wearing those jackets and walking through the stages at Ambition, those people are willing to pay the price a little bit more. They are willing to put up a fight. And what I realized is, and please don't take this the wrong way, but I'm not going to have many friends, you know, after today. The America of fighters and number ones have changed, you know. America become a little bit more like Poland, you know. We settling for things. You see, 19 years ago in Chicago, I lost everything. I ended up being father of two. I lost my marriage. I lost my business. I lost 5 properties. I lost my car. I ended up being homeless. But one thing I got to give myself credit, I never settled. You see, I never said, okay, this is how it's going to be right now. I was actually excited that one day I lost my last property and my car being loaded. You know, I was watching my car being loaded on the flatbed. And I was excited. And people thought this was something seriously wrong with me. But I figured out nobody can take anything away from me. I can't go any lower. So the only way is out. But I want you to understand, you know, and I watched this going around the country and being privileged to talk to a lot of people settling for nothing, for crumbs, and they're okay with it. They're not willing to fight. You see, the America which I was dreaming about to be part of it, homeless people were having American flag in the little buggy they were pushing, and they were proud. And they were willing, you know, to do whatever it takes. You know, people were working hard because this is, and I can tell you from my perspective, I live in communism and socialism, and now in America for 27 years, almost exactly. And there is no country on earth where you can be nobody today, and if you work a little bit harder than the next guy, you can become somebody. And in my humble opinion, Ambit is the crown jewel of capitalism. You know, you can join for $100, and if you just put your head down, work hard, you can become whoever you want to become. So overcoming obstacles, the first thing, you know, standing up for yourself, guys, you know, have some pride in it, you know. I mean, don't settle. If your best friend or somebody, you know, brushes you off, you know, with whatever, you know, I'm not interested, you're going to end up in prison. Oh, I heard about those companies. Those are a bunch of schemes. You know, I developed very early on, you know, defense to that. I said, look, brother, I love you. You know, you don't have to be interested, but you're not going to offend me. What do you mean? I am not offending you. Well, you saying Ambit is potentially, you know, a scam or run by some crooks. This is one of those Ponzi schemes. Then you think 2 things about me. Or either you think I'm stupid and I don't know who I joined, or I'm a crook like them. Oh, I didn't say that. So you see, very early on, I took some steps. I was standing up for myself. I said, look, you don't have to join me. You can watch. You don't have to walk with me. You can watch, but you're not going to try to affect me negatively. And same thing, I took pride in Ambit. For the past 11 years, I cannot think what I could do more, to prove this. I am all in Ambit. I do Ambit for over 11 years on a full-time basis. My family is all about Ambit. My children grow up in Ambit. They don't know they never experienced, they don't remember anything, what I did before. The only thing my children know is Ambit. I moved my family across the country from Illinois to Texas because of Ambit. I really truly believe from the beginning, this company is my ticket out of brokenness or fear or living constantly. I used to be in the mortgage industry before I joined Ambit. I make a lot of money, and then all of a sudden the economy crashed, and I was in fear. I'm gonna have to go back to the area, possibly, and live underneath of the bridge, with 3 kids now. And this was not an option. Jay talked about this. This was not an option for me not to make money. I was shocked if, the first person which told me, I'm not interested. I felt sorry for the person. I said, really? You don't see it? Let me pray for you. These people need help. So you see, with that type of attitude, almost everybody was saying yes. I got pretty good ratio because I was ignorance and fire. I was excited. I didn't even understand what the heck I was talking about, but I was excited. People didn't know what I was talking about, but they knew I was passionate and excited. And I told them flat out, or either you work with me and we're going to be all excited, or you're just going to watch. Your choice. So you see, the pride which we need to defend ourselves. There's nothing else, what's going to defend you, ultimately. And I learned this over the years, living in Poland, in West Berlin, West Germany, then one big Germany, in Chicago, and now in Texas. Nobody gives a damn. I have 2 friends, one over there, up there, my Lord and Savior, and my wife. We developed a lot of friendships, for example, here in Ambit. But I don't need them, in order to survive. I only need handful. And you're going to have opportunity to rub shoulders with people which are extraordinary. And I'm privileged, to be, for example, with you guys here online. Start dreaming. Because, overcoming the negativity and all the rejection, you need to have the strong why. Without the why, you see, if your why is, just to make a few bucks, you're going to fail. We all have those little dollar bills with $1 million, we all hang them on the refrigerator 1 million times. And as soon as we got our first hit, we took them down. You see, originally when I started dreaming, I was exposed to the fact, I was supposed to start dreaming. I create my visionary board. I felt awful, man. I'm a strong man, strong man don't show feelings, and I'm not going to have a visionary. But finally I cave, I say, if I do the same thing the same way, I'm going to get the same results. So I said, okay, I'm going to create visionary board. The first thing I put on my visionary board, I print out a huge business card, Peter Luda Ambit, blow this business card this big, and wrote with a big marker, #1 in Illinois. And all my friends, and I'm in the business for like 3 months, and Ambit is not even licensed back then. We didn't make a dime at this point. And people coming into my house and looking at this and they're shaking their head, my friends, and they're laughing at me in my house. Luda, you don't even know the name of the company. You just joined and you're going to be #1. I mean, who the heck you think you are? They were making fun, ripping at me. But I stuck with that. You see, this time around, because my why was so strong, I didn't take it down. I just keep there. I watched this every day, and I did what I needed to do in order to get there. And little I knew. I didn't know even this is possible, to be honest. 10 months after I joined, Ambit announced me #1 in the state of Illinois. And we were back then only in 3 states. So, look, I encourage you, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm encouraging you to dream, because I think we stopped, because reality kicks in. We graduate from colleges or high schools, and we're supposed to get a job, and then all the dreams are being taken away from us. And the problem, guys, we're settling for ordinary. We're settling for normal. I don't want to be normal. Normal people are broke. They're bored, you know. I mean, it's hard to be normal, you know, and be happy. It's impossible. So we're settling for ordinary. We even get ordinary education because this college is, you know, I really like to do this, but this is too much money, you know, so I'm going to settle for this. And we're kind of settling for the average, you know. We're getting average jobs, you know. Who's going to pay our rent, you know? But I would like to get this job, but I don't think so I'm qualified. We don't believe in ourselves, so we're settling. We're settling for partners, you know, which we barely like, you know. The whole love part, you know, kind of disappeared. We're getting married to people we barely know, you know, because it's convenient, you know. We don't have too many marriages. That's why we have so many divorces. We have roommates, you know, which with the same last name. So guys, I'm not asking you to divorce or anything, you know, but everything can be improved if you work on it. This was important, you know, part of the training, what Tim was saying, you know, how important it is to put effort into yourself, read books. I mean, I was not the guy which read books, you know. I have a pretty good excuse, you know. I didn't have too many Polish books. I didn't learn, you know, to read in English, you know, very well. So I struggled through every country, and this was my biggest excuse. You know what? I realized in America I have dyslexia, and this was my problem. So I start reading books while I'm running, while I'm driving long distance. You see, I read, you know, on the trip to Corpus, you know, last week with my family, we went through 6 hours one way and 6 hours other way back, you know, through first year in network marketing. Great book. I'm on my year 11, but still was relevant, you know. So I would encourage you, you know, to invest in yourself, as Tim was mentioning, and to keep working. You see, you can dream, you can strong why. Brian used to talk about this, you know, positive thoughts and a couple bucks get you on a bus. Only positive, massive action will get you where you want to go. You see, I have a lot of dreamers in my business, and they have beautiful visionary board, but what they do, lying on a couch looking at the visionary board 12 hours a day and hoping those cars and rings and whatever, you know, will start falling down, you know, ain't going to happen. You need to roll off your sleeves, you know, go out there and do it. Let's talk briefly about the simplicity of our system. You see, when I joined, there was system in place. That's why I was able to plug in and follow the system. So that, you know, Alan and Tim and everybody else. Why? List, invitation, presentation, validation. 5-point system. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say something what probably not going to be well, you know, strong leader is not going to like it too much, you know, out there, but somebody's got to do the dirty job, you know. You see, we all become wealthy using the simplicity of our system because every monkey was able to duplicate that. That's why we succeed. Not because we are smart, we just have a simple system, we're in the right place, we put our efforts together, you know, and we succeed. Now, what I watched for the past few years, all those strong leaders become really strong, and now that complicating for the new people. You see, we have a good thing in our heart. We're trying to help them by putting a little bit of us, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then all of a sudden, you know, those poor people out there, they have no clue what to do with that. If we just keep, you know, Jay was doing a great job. You know, what Jay is doing, that's why he's successful, because he's willing to invest his time into the new into the new consultants. Nobody want to work all of a sudden. We're trying to give them a manual with 75 points and go and do it. It's easy. No, it used to be easy. Why? List, invitation, presentation, validation. Now all of a sudden it's 17 points here in this group and 24 here and 15 there. And those poor people, you know, are just confused. Nobody's going to say that, but, you know, they join because it's supposed to be not easy, but simple. And all of a sudden it's not even simple anymore. Because we have websites and trainings and all the materials out there. Keep it simple. Guys, sit down and share your why with the new people, which even during you see, most of the time when I'm sitting down with people, I don't need to present the opportunity to them. I do it because we have to, you know, because this would be the wrong thing just to sign them up. But after I share my why or a little part of me, they want to do what I do. They would sell potatoes. Doesn't matter. People joining you because they trust you. And Ambit and our system comes after that and keeps them in our business. You see, this is the problem with a lot of people. They're starting with the mechanics, and then they're wondering, you know, why those people disappeared even after they joined. Because it's hard. It's a school. It's supposed to start here, serce, corazon, whatever you want to call this, you know, in your heart. And then the techniques will obviously improve our results, but will not make our business, you know, flourish. So we need to focus, go back, all of us. We need to go back, you know, to the basics. We need to figure out, you know, what worked for us is still valid, you know, in 2019 and will work for many, many, many more generation in our organization. Guys, I heard a wonderful training, you know, a couple of years ago. I think Tim actually sent it to me. And that one thing, you know, and I I saved this on my phone, and I still have it. And it's a long training, but one thing, you know, stood out, you know, for me in this training. You see, don't beat yourself up. A lot of people are beating themselves up. Well, you know, I'm living in a small town, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. Here Peter Luda comes, right? I'm living in a small town. Why don't you move? You know, and people look at me like, you mean? I said, no, the political correctness doesn't work, guys. So either I'm going to tell you the truth here, or you're going to be dead, you know, in a few months. So we need to do something. And here, this training kind of struck me, you know, and that's why I keep thinking about this. You see, you can't change what happened yesterday. You can't change where you were born. You can't change those things, you know. My story is my story. Your story is your story. Be proud of it, you know. Take the best things, you know. Learn from the bad stuff and take the best and run with them. But a simple thing, you know, guys, not getting to the realization that you're not going to be able to change the past. You need to get rid of it, the past, you know, kind of move forward. And this is okay, no matter how tough your past was. It's okay. But if in 365 days you will be exactly in the same spot, then you just wasted 365 days, you know, in your life. And this what kind of shocked me and scared me, you know. I want to make sure every single year, every single day, every single week, every single month, I improve something. Whatever it is. Maybe I can, you guys know I run, so maybe I can run a little bit faster, a little bit further. Or maybe I can finally, you know, finish marathon, you know, in a standing position, not on my face, you know. Whatever it is, physically, emotionally, spiritually. As soon as I finish, we talk about God a lot, you know. I mean, without God, I wouldn't be here. He bailed me out 1,000 times, and I know he will in the future if you only ask. So we all play a huge part of a bigger thing, but you have to take ownership of your own stuff. And guys, one thing which killed me almost, Brian McClure told me early on, you know, this 90 to 95% of the things which we have right now currently in our lives, you know, is because of our action or lack of it. And only 5 to 10% are the things which we do not control. And I read this in multiple books, you know, all the authors, you know, saying the same thing. And at first I was crushed because I thought he liked me. I thought he liked my family, and he just killed me. I said, damn, you know, I don't do well with those tall guys, I guess, you know. And you know, I was disappointed because I felt like everybody, you don't know my story, dude. I've been through some lots of crap, you know. You can't tell this to me, maybe for her or him, you know, but not for me. And the more I thought about this, this was the best news I ever heard. You see, again, going back, I can't change the past. But if this is true, what he said, this I'm controlling 90% of it, I'm controlling in my life, not the economy, not Obama, not Trump, not this, but whatever, not just me. And this is the best news I ever heard. And I actually am thankful he had the guts to tell me this to my face. Because this man, this I can walk away from everything, what I experienced before, and move forward with positive attitude because I am now in control, not my boss, not anybody else. So I would like to leave you guys with that. I have about 25 seconds, I guess. And I would like to leave you with that. This You are in control. Don't let anybody steal this opportunity. Work hard, develop dreams, work extremely hard. Don't look around, just work hard. Focus on you. Doesn't matter what people do in Chicago or in Houston or here. You are responsible for your success, and you can allow other people and all the destruction steal it from you, or you can at some point be grateful that you finally pay attention. Brian gave me the best tool back in the days. He said, Peter, at some point, if you want to see the reason of your success or the reason why you failed, don't thank me if you succeed, but don't blame me if you fail. Here it is, brother. God bless you guys.
Peter, how amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you for talking to us about mental toughness and remembering to dream and fighting for your why. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I can't wait to see you at the big show again in a few weeks. And we appreciate you being on.
Take it away, Tiny.
All right, guys. We're going to get going with round 4. Fighting at a team 212 with a height of 6 foot 10 inches. By the way of Tyler, Texas, let me introduce you, Coach Alan Big Al Johnston. The corporate office has recognized Coach with the Thompson Leadership Award, the Crystal Sphere Award, the People's Choice Award, the Pacesetter Award, and he sports a yellow jacket representing his lifetime Ambit earnings at over $1 million. Please welcome Coach Alan Johnston.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Hey, we had to bring the big guns in.
You got too much time.
Heavyweight Ambit Championship World mentality. That's right. Get your fight on and get your motivation and get going for the big show.
You did wonderful, Courtney. Thank you. And I want to say thank you to you and Darren, and all these costumes popping in there. Peter, Tim, and Jay, what wonderful friends they are to take out their Saturday afternoon to share with everyone. And for those of you that are viewing, I want to say thank you as well. You've got a reason for being here, and I know that the 3 gentlemen that went before me gave you information that you can utilize, and hopefully it doesn't fall on deaf ears. I love Peter's frankness. I really do. I love Jay and Tim's convictions. Jay spoke, Tim spoke, and Peter spoke, and the thing that I heard in all of their speeches and their time that they shared with you was, why are you doing Ambit? And, when you go to the big event in a few weeks, you're going to hear that multiple times. You're even going to hear people tell their My Ambit story, which is why they're doing Ambit and why they've achieved. And each time that you go out your door, you got to know that. Peter just showed Brian's classic business card that's got a mirror in it. And anytime you hear me speak, I talk about the fact that you invested in yourself. Everybody on this webinar has made an investment in themselves. So it's up to that person in the mirror to challenge that person. And to me, that's the greatest investment that you could make. Sure, you can call a money manager or a broker, and you can buy stock in this and do those kind of investments. But what we have our hands on is even greater because we get to invest in ourselves. And yes, I believe this to be a simple process, but I believe it also to be a hard process. When I was playing basketball in high school, we had a workout jersey. On the front of the jersey, it said Triple P. It stood for pride, poise, and patience. And I think that holds true with Ambit as well. What I do and what I hope each one of you do is take pride in being a part of this business. When you look at the recognition, the awards, and everything that our corporate office has received because of your work, take pride in that. When you tell people that you own a consulting business, take pride in it. Don't be bashful about that. Do not be apprehensive about the fact that you own a home-based business, because you get to pick when you build your business. You get to decide how big you want your business to be. You get to decide how hard you're going to work. See, we all own a home-based business, and practically with the #1 retail provider of energy in North America versus the law. #1 in the world in the Direct Sales Association. If you can't take pride in those things, then, I'm sorry, something's wrong with you. I take a lot of pride in the fact that I represent Ambit Energy. And I believe that each one of you should. You should have the patience of understanding that this is not an overnight get-rich-quick opportunity. It takes time. And that why is going to make you work your business. And in perfection, that comes from practice. But I want to throw another P in there, and that is push play. And to me, I think that's where the simplicity piece of it comes in. Yes, we want to train people. We want them to understand the ins and outs of being successful inside this business model. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have a background in business. I coached for 30 years. I worked with teenagers. My job was in the W's and L's. That's the wins and losses of a basketball season. I literally put my professional career, it hinged on the success of a team full of teenagers. Now, then I started this business about 10 years ago, and my success in this business hinged on me, my work ethic, and helping other people reach their goals. I take more pride in that than anything else. Whenever I hear people talk about the successes that they've had, that I've had a little bit of a part of, I take a lot of pride in that. There's this certain 3 letters that I want to ask you to ask yourself on how well do you do it, and that's called DMO. What is your daily method of operation? Are you really reaching out and succeeding at Ambit through your DMO, your daily method of operation? For me personally, I start my day off every day. As soon as I get up, I go down in my easy chair and I do a devotional. Whenever I do that, after I do that devotional, I wash myself in motivation. I find something online, whether it be just a saying, a quote, a video, something, I go and I immerse myself in motivation. Because I know during the day of building my business, I'm going to have to overcome obstacles. I'm going to run into people that are going to tell me, just like Peter's been told throughout his Ambit career, and really blood his heart throughout his whole life, he can't do it. Now he gets to say, look at me now. The one thing that I know about these 3 men that spoke before me is they're not done. They're not satisfied. But they've got servants' hearts. You're on this webinar because you do too. Yeah, you're in this to learn something from us, to pick up a golden nugget here or there, something that you can utilize to go out and be successful inside your own personal business. But at the end of the day, you're here because you've got a servant's heart. You want to learn how to build this business so you can go share it with others. And I think personally that it starts with an in-home business presentation. A lot of us miss out on this. And I just really believe that they're strong in their concept. I think, again, to use the word not loosely, but I think they're simple in their utilization. Because, again, of that 4th P, all you got to do is push play. I've watched some people that are not in the Tyler area that have gone out and had tremendous success using in-home business presentations. I attend one periodically up in Sunnyvale, Texas with Paul Campanello and Robert Martinez. And if you are Facebook people, when you see the pictures of what they stack into Paul's house, it's impressive. The other night I went over to a couple of people here in Tyler, and they had 9 friends there to see this business opportunity. Understand, as I walked into that home and these guests started coming in, what I realized is there's 9 breathing people who these 2 ladies have given an opportunity to change their life or add financially to their life. And for me, what I want to share with you is how to do this in-home. I'm not the author. I'm not the professional. I'm going to give you my take on how I like to do in-home business presentations from the start to the end. And for me, what I do is I always invite simple. And the simple invitation is stuff that you can pick up from all these other leaders. But for me, I call people up and I just say, hey, Bob, this is Coach. How you been? You busy? You got a second? I love using that first line of question. Are you busy or do you have a second? It tells Bob that I've got something I need him for. And I'm going to tell him that I've recently started and partnered with an outstanding company, and I'm part of an expansion that's taking place, and I'm launching my business, and I would like for him to come support me in the launch of my business next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Can I count on you to be there? That's a yes or no answer. That's it. I'm not asking. If he starts getting into all the questions, I'll say, look, Bob, if you're too busy, if this isn't something that you're willing to support me in, booyah, see you back. If he says, are you trying to sell me something, I'll take it to another level. I'll say, Bob, do me a favor and do you a favor. Leave your wallet at the house. Sally, lock your purse in your trunk when you get here. I'm not going to sell you nothing, and I'm not trying to sell you on anything. But I'm just asking, can you be here at 7 o'clock next Tuesday night? Now, this is Saturday afternoon, and I'm setting up for my in-home business presentation next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. So I go through, and I know in my living room comfortably I can sit 15 people. I'm going to invite 20, maybe 25. And the reason I'm going to do that is we all know that by the time Tuesday rolls around, 5 or 6 or 7 are going to have something else come up. The child's going to get sick. They're going to be late from work. They're going to forget little Johnny had baseball, soccer, or t-ball practice. Something's going to happen. But what I'm also going to do is Monday afternoon, I'm going to shoot them a text individually, not a group text, individually. I'm going to shoot them a text, and I'm going to tell them in the text, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And I'm going to include my address. And I'm going to close it with thank you for supporting me. Send. I'm going to copy and paste that to everyone who gave me their word. And I may have to make a lot of calls, but think about you doing this with a brand new consultant. Think about you going to their house and having them follow this system, and you go and you be there to support them, because that's something I'm going to say that's really important here in a minute. So as you go through this, 7 o'clock. Now, let's look at it this way. Tuesday rolls around. I get home, I get everything set up after work, and I'm ready. 6:30 rolls around, 6:45 rolls around. A few come in, 6:50 gets there, a few more comes around. 6:55 and 6:59, I'm leaving my front door and I'm going into the room with everyone else. At 7 o'clock, I said this meeting is starting. For those that are running late, they can come on in the house. But for those that are there, I've got to appreciate their time and value their time. Now, all I'm going to do at 7 o'clock is I'm going to step up in front of them, and I'm going to tell them I appreciate them for being at the house. Leanne and I open our home to you. If you need the ladies' room or the men's room, it's right across the hall right here. 10 years ago, I started this business with a group of incredible people. The company is growing by amazing amounts. I personally started this, and I take my right hand and I point over at the wall where we have the picture of our daughter Rachel and our son Caleb. And I say, I started this business for them. It's like, I like to say, it's like show and tell back in the day when you were in first grade. And every time I see every one of those people's heads turn and they see my two perfect children. What I'm about to share with you is 3 phases of short videos that will explain to you why I'm so excited about changing my children's life. I turn on push play. Get out the way. I let the video play. When that 4 minutes is over with, I go up and as I'm going to my computer to advance the video, I'm saying verbally to the crowd, I wanted to introduce you to our 2 co-founders and let you see a little bit more about the workings of this company. Push play, get out the way. When it's over with, I tell them, I'm going to show you now how it is that I am going to change my children and my family's life. I share with you the compensation plan of the largest transition of wealth in America's history. While I'm doing that, I'm moving video. So as soon as I say that, push play, again, get out of the way. When the video is over with, I've got somebody of a higher level, equal level, sharp, promoted person ready, sitting in the wing to come close the meeting for me. If I can't get anyone there in person, then I'm going to have a speaker system set up so that they can validate and answer questions. Now, the reason I like doing these is because on Thursday night here in Tyler, we have a traditional corporate business overview. So if they need more information, guess what? Meet me at the meeting. I'll come pick you up. If they want to test the waters a little bit more, I tell them, look, be there Thursday, hear from a vast number of people of all different walks of life, just not a basketball coach. We have attorneys, we have doctors, we have teachers, we have self-employed people. We have all walks of life. Come meet them. And as a matter of fact, I love doing this. As a matter of fact, bring whoever you want to with you. The more the merrier. I've personally learned that when you invite people and allow them to invite people, they're more comfortable coming in amongst a bunch of people they don't know. And there's countless stories in Ambit Energy of the number of people who have come into this business that were invited by other people that were actually the person invited by the consultant that have had tremendous success. Kirk Horan was a guest of a guest. And we all know what he ended up doing. Now, at the end of this meeting, at the end of the validation, at the end of the questions getting answered, then let's have a decision. If you get that absolute no, take it again to other levels. Obviously, you want them to be your customer. But I like asking this twofold question. At the end, if they say it's not for me, I always have two follow-up questions. Question one, would you consider being my customer, supporting me in my journey, and allowing me to help you? Question two, who do you know? It may not be for you, but who do you know? You can grab referrals by asking for that who do you know question. And it's just the meticulous. And what you're going to learn, and I talked to Peter, I've traveled an 8-hour drive with Peter down to the southern part of Louisiana. I remember the discussion about following up. Personally, again, for me, whenever I first started, my friends, the first 32 people I talked to told me no. But to reiterate one more time, the reason I didn't give up was why I was doing Ambit in the first place. Think about this. You all have either seen or will see people that get told no 1, 2, or 3, or 4 times, and they gone. Usually they're gone because that why wasn't strong enough. As a teacher and a coach, my wife, a successful teacher and a coach, I knew the only way that I was going to surprise that daughter was through this opportunity. And I didn't even believe in home-based businesses. I didn't believe a one iota in home-based businesses. You know what I believed in? I believed in this old ugly guy you're looking at on your screen. And I knew that I was going to surprise my daughter. So it was my daily method of operation. It was keyword in that, daily. The methodology is there. We call it the system. Peter did a great job of being blunt with it. The operation is, how often are you going to do it? Some people ask me all the time, why do y'all call yourselves Team 212? It has to do with that very thing. I followed this my entire life. I heard it whenever I was a child. At 211 degrees, water boils. Water will boil at 211 degrees. At 212 degrees, steam occurs. We created the Transcontinental Railroad, which was part of the Manifest Destiny. Not to give you a history lesson, we went through mountains here in America to get to westward expansion using steam engines. How does that relate to Ambit Energy? You go to work, you have your usual day, you're tired at the end of the day, you're wore out, you get home, your husband's grumpy, wants for supper, the kids are griping at you because they don't have what they need for school, you got yelled at work, whatever your situation is, what I'm telling you right now is if you're willing to muster up that extra degree, you can move mountains. Team 212 is about people willing to do just a little bit more. And it demands that you do a little bit more. You can have a hard day at work. You can have a hard day at the office. You can have a lot of things going on in your personal life. But if your why is important enough, You're going to find that extra degree to go out and move your mountains so you can change or at least help your financial future by, again, keeping this focused on helping so many other people in their journey. Watching this help people save homes. Watching this business help send kids to college. Watching this help people get out of financial devastation. Watching this help people take vacations they've never taken before. That's the beauty in what we're doing. And a byproduct of that is getting your daughter a car, getting your son a car, paying for your kids' college education, retiring your wife so she can stay with her parents in their dying days. There's so much power to what we're doing if we got the pride, the patience, the poise, and we're willing to push play. So you ask, what's your daily method of operation? My daily method of operation: devotional, motivation, check my back office, set up my phone calls for the day, check my customers. When do I do it? Do it every day. You know what I'm going to be doing in another 2 weeks? I'll be going to Dallas. I'll be going to this big show called Ambition that these guys keep talking about, the big show. And sitting there thinking, why do I need to go? I'm just going to say it bluntly, in my opinion. And Peter, you think you said something that offended some people. I might on this one, and I'm sorry if I do. It's just, since I've got the stage, I get to say what I want to say. And I don't mean to be rude, but people that don't go to Ambition are posers. They're wishing, hoping, and dreaming this to happen. And some of the best advice I was given early in Ambit Energy was whenever I was told, Coach, sometimes you got to spend money to make money. And I didn't want to spend money. We didn't have a lot of extra money to spend in the first place. When I started, when most of these people that you've heard speak started, it was $458.08 to get started in this business. And trust me, the Johnston house did not have that extra money. But we had that determination and we had that drive. And we wanted to help people. We've always wanted to help people. Last night, my wife and I spent 3 hours at our church filling up food with an organization, nonprofit called Feed My Starving Children. I sat there and I listened to a promotional before we started doing this work. I emptied out 7 humongous size of Volkswagen containers of soy so that they could go to tables and be put in these packages and sealed to be sent all over the world. Do y'all realize that 3,200 children a day die from starvation or related starvation diseases? Do you know what I fixed to start doing with a lot of my money? I found out about this nonprofit, no government support, no nothing. I've got a new drive, a new additional why to why I'm doing Ambit. Feed my starving children. I'm not doing that for a promotional for any of you to do anything with it. That's what Alan's going to do. That's what Coach is fixing to do. And I know I'm going to get better at doing it by going to Ambition. I know I'm going to get better at it by being in the hallways and picking Peter's brain, Jay's brain, Tim's brain, and all these other top leaders. My first Ambition I ever went to, I went up to the top money earners because they are approachable. And I asked them, what have you done to get to where you're at? How have you done this? What have you done every day? Tell me your secret to success. And they all simply gave me a quick answer. And it ranged everything from the more you share the plan, the higher rate of success you're going to have. You got to spend money to make money. You got to face the negativity. You can't get beat down. It just went on and on and on, but it all resulted back to one thing. Keep it short and simple. Share the plan, share the plan, share the plan. And what gets missed by a lot of people is, I'm going to share the plan, but I'm going to share the plan next week at the meeting. I'm going to invite somebody to come take a look at this business next Thursday in Tyler, Texas, and here it is Saturday. What's wrong with Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? You don't have to go to their house. All you just got to do is do that one thing. Remember, get them to push play. Or drop by their house and you push play. But I want to say it again. Ambition, ambition, ambition. I don't even see back there, but I've been to every one possible, even the ones we couldn't afford to go to. Because I know to own and operate a business, I have to be at that event. I've got to learn and perfect my profession. I got to gain the level of pride, to gain the level of belief, get around the people that are doing it, figure out what they're doing, and come back to Tyler and duplicate it as much as I possibly can. See, right now, we're lucky in East Texas. We got the perfect storm going on, and because of Derek and Courtney, all of you have the perfect storm. Here we are this evening. You heard from 3 incredible, successful men on a Saturday on August the 2nd, early in this. Now, you guys that are within 2-3 hours, we got people driving 7 hours on August the 15th to come here and listen to Brian McClure. So think about it. Today, this great training that they put together. August the 15th, Brian McClure and Tyler, and we're almost sold out. There's only 13 tickets left. You better go to Eventbrite if you want to come join us. And I know the guys up north have got tickets left. There's one in Chicago on the 7th as well. And then a week and a half after that, what do you have? Ambition. Come listen to Jerry and Chris. Come listen to people like Peter and Tim and Jay. Leave out of there and know the money that you spent invested in yourself will allow you to go home and turn your why into reality. God bless every one of you. I mean that sincerely. I appreciate you for joining Derek, Darren, and Courtney. I appreciate Tim, Jay, and my man, the redneck Polish killer, Peter Luda, for being on here and sharing their wisdom with you. And Derek, thanks for having me a part of it.
No problem, Coach, man. We truly appreciate you coming on. I also wanted to kind of go over a couple things that you had talked about. We had the Sunset Tour, which is Brian McClure. He's going to join us because Darren and Dowdy and Courtney Dowdy invested themselves to go to Power Trip. They won him coming to see us. So I think you told me last night we had about 19 tickets left, roughly. So you better get that done. Again, ambition. Don't be a poser, as Coach would say. Get to ambition. Is August 28th to the 31st. We'll post on the Ambit Gifts page. A lot of people wanting to kind of meet us and stuff, so we're going to do something on the lawn. Do you know what time?
I think it's Friday evening, so when they do the lawn thing, we'll be out there.
Yeah, somewhere on the lawn. Just come find us. We would love to hear from you.
On Wednesday.
And then I also want to wish Cookie McFarland a happy birthday. Today is her birthday. So everybody reach out to Cookie McFarland and say happy birthday. And then tomorrow is Coach Alan Johnston's birthday. So, Coach.
Happy birthday, Coach.
Love
Happy
you,
birthday,
man.
Big Al.
You know, Coach is not my personal sponsor, but he is my direct upline. And for the 9 years that I've been involved with this business, he has truly helped grow my business and been a great leader. I want you to know that, Coach, that I appreciate you. I'm gonna play our the Ambit Gift video for you guys again if you want to stick around. If you haven't seen that, it's a video that I edited for purposes for you to share. You'll get this training. So the 4 leaders you had tonight, you'll get that training emailed to you. It'll come out between 24 and 48 hours. It takes me a little bit to get that edited. But we will send out the very first training. That'll come out tomorrow. That has Steve Thompson, Chris and Debbie Atkinson, Max Udmir, and Chad Crenshaw. That was the first Ambit Gift training. And then we'll see you guys in 3 months. We truly appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. And please spread the word. Let your team see this. You guys are going to have access to it for 2 weeks. Let them know what they're missing by not coming on the Ambit Gift. And we'll see you guys again in 3 months.